All right, good morning. Hello, bonjour, gwe telahai. Welcome to all. This is our first coffee break of 2025. And so I'm quite excited to welcome you all to it. Going to do a little kind of recap of where we are because we've got a few folks that haven't joined in a while and we have someone that's new with us. So just want to kind of bring everyone back to the purpose of the coffee break and what it's all about. I was looking back over our records. We started the virtual coffee break, entrepreneur coffee break, as a pilot in partnership with Navigate Small Business in January 2020, which means we are entering into our 6th year of this coffee break. And I'm looking at some of the faces on here. I think you've been on almost every single one. So thank you for hanging out with me for 6 years as we do this. But this is a very I'll call it relaxed. Scott says he's only on tea. I'm doing my smoothie this morning, buddy. So I'm good. Um, it's a relaxed, informal way for us to bring people together. Lori is actually she's going to hopefully share a little bit more about herself, but she's joining us from Nova Scotia today. Scott's in St. John's on the other end of the province. But even for the folks that are here in Pasadena and in Deer Lake and Corner Brook, sometimes getting on that highway to meet somebody and go for coffee is a little bit more of a challenge. So we kind of opened up the virtual coffee break for just that purpose that you can hop on. It's if you got to leave early, that's great. If you join late, that's great. It's just about coming in when you can and making some connections with other folks that are in the entrepreneur ecosystem as we talk about it. So we do have some folks here today that are entrepreneurs, and we do have some folks here today that are the support folks for us that we cannot do without you because going it alone. I know there's several on here that are solopreneurs. And when you're going it alone, sometimes you just need to bounce off ideas and you need to know there's people out there to help you out. And I just recently met with someone and I said to them, I'm going to guarantee you there's an entire community of people that want you to succeed. Tap into it. And Kelly is nodding her head. Kelly's just going through that process now, and she's been making those connections as well. So I want to thank you for joining us today. I do want to take a moment to acknowledge that I'm in the beautiful community of Pasadena on the west coast of Newfoundland and Labrador, which is in the territory of the ancient Beothuk. I ask that you think about the lands you're joining us from today. We do have 5 Indigenous populations in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. So we have the Beothuk, the Mi'kmaq, the Innu, the Inuit, and the Southern Labrador Inuit. And Lori, I know there's Indigenous populations in your part of the world as well. So we just take a moment to reflect on that, our beautiful land that we are all joining from. So I know there's a few folks have to pop off a little bit early today, so I'm going to ask that we do a quick round of introductions. There's really 2 kind of things that I want to talk about today. And this was a suggestion from the community. This was 2 entrepreneurs that suggested this to me, that sometimes January tends to be that time where we kind of take a fresh look at things and we kind of look at the new year and maybe we're planning and going ahead. So can this be a topic around refreshing your business? Where are you in your business and taking that kind of step back and taking a look at it? So I'm going to be I've got 7 tips for you on refreshing that and also 4 tips on refreshing your brand. And then I'm also pleased to welcome Karen Greene, who is in a brand new role in government. And I'm hoping that Karen, once we kind of have these conversations about some of the things that we might be able to do to refresh our business, you might be able to help navigate us through that because that's part of your new role. So we're so very pleased to welcome you here. So I'm going to go in reverse order that was on my screen, which means Scott, you're up first, then it's going to be Kelly. So if you would want to do a quick intro, Scott, let folks know who you are and where you are.
Absolutely. Thanks, Carol. And I think I was at the very first virtual one, if I'm not mistaken, back when you were doing WebEx ones. Now we're in the
Oh my gosh,
Teams.
yes.
Remember
We've
that?
gone through so many different platforms, but this is the one that most governments allow me to use. So I stick to Teams because I don't tend to get blocked.
So yeah, so I think I was at the very first one. just want to throw that out there. I attend as many as I can. And again, Carol, I just want to thank you for doing these virtual. As much as I love attending the in-person ones on the West Coast, the virtual ones allows the people like me on the East Coast to also attend to meet you fine folks. So as Carol said, Scott Andrews, for those of you that haven't met, I'm with Futurepreneur Canada. And if you're not aware of Futurepreneur Canada, we're a national nonprofit. And we specifically focus on youth entrepreneurship. And our definition of youth are those under the age of 40. So we just try to help more young entrepreneurs get started in business by providing financing, mentorship, and free business resources. And I'm located in St. John's, as Carol said, but I get to the Best Coast, West Coast as many times as I can. So I'm hoping to be there soon and do something in person. So thanks, Carol. And I do have to jump off at 10. I told Carol that. So
Yeah, not a
glad to be here
problem.
for at least a little bit.
Thank you so much. And I keep pressuring Scott. There needs to be a maturepreneur organization for those of us a little bit past 40. I will, however, say that Scott's always looking for mentors. So if anyone on
I am.
here is interested, I've been a mentor in his program, and it's a really, really rewarding experience. So if you're
Thank you,
able
Carol.
to do that. All right, Kelly, you're up next, and then Sherry.
I'm Kelly Land. I'm here in what's really now sunny and beautiful Pasadena. I am the owner of Bee's Knees Event Marketing and Planning. I also wear a second hat and I work with WRDC. So I'm coming to you from both angles today. Super busy. And Carol, I just want to say in the branding thing, I just got a new uniform. So I'll show you that after.
Awesome.
And I do agree, networking that's how I'm doing everything, is the networking, because my business is very based on connecting with other businesses to be able to host my events. So
Yeah, absolutely. My family always makes fun of me because they say, "Mom, you don't drink coffee, but you go for coffee a lot." And I said, "Yep, because that's what it's about. It's about connections." Sherry, you're up next, and then Terry Lynn.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Sherry Hines. I'm the Executive Director for the Greater Corner Brook Board of Trade here in Corner Brook.
Well, thank you for joining us. Terry Lynn, and then Lori.
Good morning, everybody. Scott, I only have coffee in mine too, I promise.
I wouldn't trust her.
Carol's been on a few road trips with me. My name's Terry Lynn Robbins, and I am co-owner of Robbins Family Farm in Deer Lake. And we're a multi-commodity farm, and our focus is primarily educating the masses on where your food comes from. And we have a strong focus on agritourism. So we have a petting farm. We also do all the farm camp for kids and different youth programs and food programs, subscription boxes in the summer and in the winter with meat and eggs and breads and veggies and fruits and all sorts of things. So we're fairly busy here. And for the record, I've been with Carol since the beginning as well. I tell Carol all the time, I'm definitely a Spicer facilitation groupie.
She is. And yes, we've been on the road together. So I think technically we're each other's groupies.
Yeah.
Lots of fun. Lori, welcome. You said you've been trying to get with us for a while, so I'm interested in learning how you found out about us and where you are.
Yeah, I can't remember how I found out about you actually. I'm not awful, but I keep getting your emails. So there we go. I'm on your mailing list. My name is Lori Prentice Van Leuven, and I am in Digby, Nova Scotia. And I have a business called East Coast Sirens. And basically, I'm an artisan and I make resin products. And I also have now ventured off, just because I wasn't busy enough, into making journals and note cards. So I'm very busy with that. I also in the summer have opened up a artisan gift shop, which carries my products as well as consignment products from people in Nova Scotia, and all artisan handmade. Nothing comes from China. And I operate that out of the Point Prim Lighthouse here in Digby, Nova Scotia. So
Awesome.
that's been really, really good. And yeah, so it's been a great opportunity meeting people from all over the world. We get a lot of people from Newfoundland coming out to Nova Scotia, which is really awesome. I have to still get over to you guys, but I'm planning on it eventually. So yeah, that's basically who I am and what I'm doing.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Karen, up to you, and then Samantha.
Well, I'm Karen Greene, and I'm in the newly launched program, Business Navigators.
You're cutting in and out a little bit, Karen.
Sorry, can you hear me better now?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, sorry, I'm with the Newfoundland Business Navigators service that was just launched last week. I guess I'll wait. Nobody can wait just a little bit. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's basically my-
Perfect. Thank you. And Samantha.
I'm Samantha. I'm with Atlantic Edge Credit Union. So we have 16 branches now all over the province, right from Port aux Basques on up into Labrador, and on out into Mount Pearl. We actually just recently opened a new one on Fogo Island, which is super exciting. I'm one of our commercial services officers here, so I help a lot of entrepreneurs when it comes to lending, and not only just the borrowing side, but the other products and services that we can offer. And it's not just entrepreneurs we help with, it's also nonprofits, all that good stuff. We're all about being able to give back into the community as much as we can.
Awesome. Excellent. Thank you. Welcome. So Karen, if you're able to hang in for a little bit, I think I'll go through the refresh stuff first, and then that may trigger some of the things that you can share with us, if that's okay. Okay. So I guess just kind of show of hands, how many of you kind of do that step back in January and say, okay, where are we headed? Where are we going? It might be both personally and professionally, but I think it's something that we often kind of look at it as an opportunity to kind of refresh who we are. So I did some research and some digging around, because you know what I'm like, let's go see what I can find out on this topic when somebody suggested it. And I came across this article that gave 7 tips on kind of refreshing or re-looking at your business. And of course, this can be done at any time, but kind of taking a look at it where we are now. So the first one that is on the list is boost financial management. So Samantha, that might be appeal to you. But I thought that was kind of interesting, because we've actually had on this forum fairly recently financial topics that people have been interested in. We had Lynn talk about cash flow management. We had Morgan Payne talk about bookkeeping tips and how to work with your accountant. And so it's boost your financial management really is about your own knowledge and interest, and how much have you, how savvy are you? And to me, there's always that tipping point as a small business when you can afford to hire somebody. But then I know of people who hire somebody right from the beginning, but they really don't understand their own finances. They just keep handing the receipts over and the invoices over, but not really having that wherewithal of what the business is actually happening or what's going on within that business. And I just had a conversation with a lady recently, and we're going to do some number crunching for her, because she really doesn't have a sense of where she is. Her accountant's great, and does a great setup. And I think, Scott, you and I have had this conversation about accountants and where we use them and don't use them and those kinds of things. But so I think it behooves us really, especially if you're a solopreneur like I am, which that's your bread and butter, that's your money coming in, is to have some savvy about that. Now, I'm very fortunate. My mother is a banker and an accountant. So she gave me an Excel spreadsheet on my first day and said, here, start tracking. And so, I'm able to manage it myself. But that I thought was an interesting one, about, one of the things that we could look at. So for some of you, that might be your goal this year, is to increase some of your financial savviness. The second step that they've listed is accelerate operational efficiency. So, looking at what's working, what didn't work, what could we do that maybe makes things a little bit more efficient. And I'm going to tell you folks, it took me a little while to embrace it, but I'm starting to love AI. Because there are certain things that AI can do for you that can just save me time. Like, for instance, if I get an evaluation, a list of evaluations from a workshop, I used to read all the evaluations, and I still do, but trying to look, what are the themes? What are some of the feedback? What can I, learn from? I can pop that into AI and it'll come back with a lovely document that tells me all the challenges, all the successes, what people liked, what they didn't like, and the different types of things. So to me, that's an efficiency. And I've also embraced the use of templates. So if I'm doing certain things, and this is my world, folks. I can go down a rabbit hole for 4 hours on fonts. Kelly's probably been in that space as well, designing documents. I get on Canva and I'm like, okay, that's not the right shade. And I'll give you 4 hours at it. And it's like I've got one slide done. But once I put that investment in, I can reuse those, right? And so it can build those efficiencies. I'm going to run through these quickly and then we can have a bit of a conversation about them. Sharpen your planning and your budgeting. So again, Mom was a banker. She gave me an allowance on Fridays when I was a kid, and if I spent it by Sunday, I didn't get any more till next Friday. And so she taught me the value of budgeting, early days. I also got way more than my friends got as an allowance, but I also had to buy stuff out of my money then that other kids' parents paid for. So it really taught me the whole understanding of it. And she said to me back then, and I was probably about 8 or 9 when she started it, in the real world, you get paid on Fridays, so you're getting paid on Friday. And if you buy your records, back then it was buying the 45s, right? And if I bought my records and used up my budget by Sunday, well, then I couldn't buy fries at school. So, she taught me some efficiencies on that. If you have employees, develop your employees. Put some effort into maximizing, the skills that they have. I'm a big believer in going for coffee with my employees when I work on projects or have teams, getting to know what excites them, getting to know what motivates them. All of us have talent. To me, we have hidden talents sometimes. We're hired for a particular role, but maybe we actually have some skills that haven't been tapped into. So having those conversations with people to see what excites them, what can you develop, and help them expand as well. This one talks to today, expand your network. So it's I often say I'm a professional networker. I truly do show up at a lot of stuff. And people are starting to say that to me. Oh, I knew you'd be here because you show up at everything. But like Kelly mentioned, my business is on word of mouth. So it's those recommendations and those connections that mean a lot to my business. So I work on my network, and one thing I've learned is ask for the introduction. So often in my early days, I went into a networking event and Samantha was like, do you know Bob? You need to talk to Bob. And I'd be like, yeah, okay. And I'd leave the event and I'd have completely forget who Bob was and why I should talk to Bob. So then now if people say you need to talk to so-and-so, great, give me an email intro. And then it's on me then to follow up and connect. And I'm more than willing to give anyone email intros. So if in our conversations, I think there's someone that would benefit knowing you and vice versa, I'm all for it because that's how we build our networks. So I think that's important. And then the last two are a little bit more strategic. Minimize your business risk. And I just read an article recently on business risk, and looking at what are some, and the world's changing, what are some of the things that could potentially be posing a risk to you? Lori, we live on the other side of the Gulf. The weather is a risk to us. When the winds are up high, the ferries don't go, we don't get supplies, we don't get goods. The Canada Post strike recently.
Oh, that was
That
awful.
it impacted so many businesses and in such a large extent, and for some of them, they're prime. You're an artisan, this is your prime time season is Christmas.
Yep.
And, even there was a store here in town in Pasadena that her online plummeted. She doesn't use Canada Post. People just assumed and didn't even try to go on her online when she could have been able to make arrangements to get things out, but just tanked when all of that started happening. So, looking at what risks apply to your business and are there things that you can do to be prepared for those. And then revise your business plan. Now, this is one that I laugh at because I'm actually going to be in my 7th year now in next month. And every now and then I do go back and look at the business plan I drafted and I laugh. And I'm like, oh, look, that's what I thought. That's hilarious. Because the world has changed so much in the last 7 years. So sometimes it's good to step back and say, okay, well, what's my current approach then? Where do I think I'm going? So that was a quick sort of overview of the 7 tips. So anything kind of jump at you? Anything you want to add to those kind of refresh things?
There are a couple of things like to bring in, my perspective is like, if you're looking to upskill your staff, lots of times it's some grants, investor movement, some grants and programs and different services that can help with that. So we may want to reach out to Business Navigators so we can help find that information for you. And just outside the government, you mentioned the AI tool. And I've been promoting this since last fall. I've been an event here I've been under the techno tutors at St. John's. They provide a lot of training on AI, just absolutely fabulous. And it's free. That's research. So if you're looking to have your own skills or your staff skills, that's I think it would be like that.
Yeah. So again, cutting in and out a little tiny bit there. So just what Karen was saying, if you're looking to upskill your staff, there are potentially grants that are available to do that. And then also techno tutors on out of St. John's, and they do workshops across the province, and they're free workshops through the Community Sector Council. And they're open not just to not-for-profits, they're open to anyone that can do that. I'll tout Scott's series. Scott's got the Rock My Business series. Now, the good thing about Scott's organization, for those of us that saw 40 a little while ago, we don't have to be under 40 to participate in their training. And they have a Rock My series. And I don't know them all, Scott. So do you want to tell us I think there's 4 in the series training opportunities?
Oh, 3.
3. Okay.
That's pretty close. Yeah.
Close.
So absolutely, yeah. So we have an extensive, because again we're national and we do mostly it's virtual. We have an extensive network of resources that we're continually offering, and like Carol said, all of our resources are available to anybody. So even though our funding program is specifically for young entrepreneurs under 40, our resources are available to those like me outside of our age range. And like Carol referred to, our most popular series is our Rock My Business workshop series, and it's a 3-part workshop series. So where we focus on how to focus your business idea, how to write an effective business plan, and how to write an effective cash flow or projection for your business plan. So idea, business plan, and cash flow. And they're happening right now, Carol, exactly. So, and again, like Carol said, we're actually doing a session today, accounting tips for young entrepreneurs as well. So constantly doing lots of sessions and workshops to kind of help in this space.
Yep. Excellent. And the other advantage with Scott's organization being national is they offer different time zones. So don't feel you have to participate in the Atlantic time zone one. If the BC time zone works for you, because you're better off to do it in the evening, then certainly you can pop into any of those.
And French and English if you prefer as well. So.
There you go. May we? Been a long time since I spoke French well enough to take a workshop in French. So Terry Lynn, you talked about you always do on New Year's Day a look at what worked, what didn't work.
Yeah, every year it just sort of happened by accident. One year it was stormy, and so we had nothing else to do but talk to each other when the power was out. And so it's just kind of become a little bit of a tradition, whether it happens right on New Year's Day or, in that first couple of days, we just kind of sit down and take the whole day and look at what worked the past year, things we want to, keep and not keep and improve on, and just goals and hopes and dreams, let's say, for the year coming. And it just seems to kind of work and motivates you through the January blahs and keeps you inspired. I just find it just keeps us inspired for, because everybody can end the year feeling like, wow, that was a crazy year. Maybe I don't want to do that again.
Exactly.
And so we always, we like to just kind of take a full day and just do a full review.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. And Lori, you're starting to embrace a few other supports around you, bookkeeping and some training.
Yeah. Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. Um, I'm solopreneur, obviously, and it gets to be quite overwhelming after a while because you focus on one thing and then everything else falls to the side and doesn't get done. So, yeah, I now have a bookkeeper, which is great. I'm working on my website to try and get it so that I can actually do shipping properly and get that kind of thing out there. I just had it upgraded a bit, so it's a lot more presentable. And the AI, I'm working with the Gray Wave. I'm not sure if anybody remembers Steve Dotto. He used to have a TV show 100 years ago, and it was all on data and technology. And now he's gone to virtual. And so they've got a whole course on AI. So I'm working on that with them just to get a better understanding of it and how to better utilize AI. Like I said in my chat that I do use AI for product descriptions because after a while it gets very tedious trying to come up with a description for something that is exactly the same as the other thing, maybe just different colors. So that has really, really helped and sped up my inputting of stuff into the inventory and onto the website. So yeah, there's a lot of awesome tools out there right now that are available. It's just a learning curve.
Yeah, exactly. For sure. And I know I've used it for, I was doing a professional learning day with the college, and I had my topic and I knew what I was going to talk about. And they said, okay, give us a little description of it. And I don't know. So I typed in, give me a description of a talk on this topic covering these things. And it came back and I'm like, okay, let's wordsmith that a little bit because it doesn't quite sound like me, but it certainly gave me a starting point.
It
And then I
does.
was able to come up with something that I was comfortable with. So
It
sometimes
helps. Yeah.
yeah, it's just the prompts I think that helps. And
Yeah. You get that writer's block.
yeah, and you do. Yeah, how creative can I get with describing,
That's right.
facilitation? It's most people don't understand what it is, let alone trying to get creative to describe it.
Exactly.
Kelly, I'm thinking in your world, this might be something that's something you
I
explore.
use it all the time because I have to. So I'm not sure if everybody online is kind of aware of what my business is, but it's my main focus is escape boxes, and I basically do a portable escape room. And it's become a big team building thing. So I have 4 escape boxes that I bring down, and like the business has exploded in the last 2 months. Is crazy. But I tailor each set of boxes to the clients. So I have to come up with a new story every single time I do it. So I get an idea and I'll type it into Chat GPT or something, and I'll say, okay, I need a story that goes with this, and they'll spit out something and I'll be like, oh, I like kind of that. But, and like you said, Carol, I pick out what I want from it and I use it, but I use it all the time. And my husband is terrified of it. And he's like, but isn't that cheating? I'm like, no, it's not cheating. I said, if I was working in an office, I would be bouncing ideas off other people. And this is my way to bounce ideas off of something else.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if you've fallen into this, but you actually start to talk to it like it's a person that you're talking to. So you
I
put
always say
in
thank you. Always.
exactly, and I'm like, that's not quite right. Well, I'm really sorry about that. And then I'm like, well, that's really good. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm having a conversation with myself on this tool.
I think your tool learns about who you are, and I think it learns your process, and I think it also learns your personality and as much as how you like to portray things. That's what I'm learning anyway, that it will pick up on that. So then it will eventually start to do things the way you want to do them.
Yeah.
Which is kind of freaky in a way.
It is. And I'm kind of like Kelly's husband. I was absolutely terrified of it. And more so not of using it, but I'm terrified of what is going to happen in this world because of it, because the world is just so uncertain. But it's like one of those, I got to get on with this because it is actually saving me a lot. So,
It
you know, when
does. Yeah.
it does save you time or it gets you thinking and like you said, Kelly, you're there by yourself. And if you were in an office, you would be bouncing it off a team. You'd have a bunch of people that you'd be, collaborating with and sharing ideas. So this does give you that. So before I turn it over to Karen to tell us a little bit more about her program, I just want to look at the brand refresh. So part of refreshing obviously is looking at our business as a whole, but if we want to focus solely on the brand. Thanks so much, Scott, for popping in, and we'll see you again. Four kind of steps on how to look at your brand. So is your brand modern and relevant? So is it something that you feel kind of keeps with today? Does it align? Lori just talked about personality. Does it align with the personality that you want to portray? And for several of us on here, we are solopreneurs, so we are that face of the business. So does it align with what it is you want to project? And so when you look at it, you want to think, does it need tweaking? Does it just need refreshing? Or are you looking at a full overhaul? And I'm also thinking both for Samantha and Sherry in the nonprofit, not-for-profit sector, often not-for-profits go through a brand identity crisis, right? Who are we? People don't know what we do. And sometimes you're having those conversations about your brand. So I know that I've changed my brand in 7 years. The brand I had was great when I started and it suited me then. But as my business evolved and as I got a better sense of the market that I was connecting with, I changed my brand to what it is today, and I'm much more comfortable with that the way it is. Confirm your direction. So your markets might be changing. So do you need to adjust how you're interacting with your market? So I know Terry Lynn, I'll use as an example because we have been together for so long. Terry Lynn used to grow flowers primarily. It was a greenhouse that was, focused on flowers and your spring and all that kind of stuff. And during COVID and crisis and food security on this island, she shifted into food production. So, the market changed. The expectation of what people wanted changed. And so then they adapted their business to that. So it's looking at, how your brand reflects what you're interacting with, the market you're interacting in. This piece, the next one step, the third one I thought was kind of interesting. Understand how your market sees you. So we often think about how we project to the people we serve, but are you taking time to actually analyze or reflect back on how they see you? So what are the testimonials you're getting? What are the comments you're getting on social media? What are people saying about your business, either to you or to others? And so sometimes you may need to go out and have some of those conversations. And I know early in my career, I would start to talk to clients that I had done a little bit extra, like more than one assignment with or something. And I'd say to them, what about me do you like what's working? What would you say about me? And I'd ask them point blank because I didn't always have an opportunity to kind of get that feedback. And I remember early on, one person said to me, I can count on you. You're reliable. That's not something I would have thought as sort of a value or a projection to put out. But when I started to think about it, well, that's a really important piece, obviously, that I can be dependent on, that they know that if they hire me, they're going to get a good product. And so it was like, that's kind of cool. And it wasn't something on my radar, right? So it was asking, take that moment to think about how your market, the people you're serving, how do they see you? Not so much what you think it is. And then once you kind of go through all of those things, evaluate your marketing materials. So Kelly, you just flashed us there something, and I didn't get a chance to look at it fully. So you were saying you just changed something on your brand.
So as bee's knees, I now have a uniform that I will wear when I go out to do my events. Just
Awesome.
a little thing. And every time I go out, I always think of Carol. She says, the brand is very important and you have to always, provide the brand, wear the brand. And I was like, well, how do I brand bee's knees? So I found, of course, a bee's shirt. So here I go.
Yeah.
But
I invested in my hoodies, because not everything is always that opportunity where you're all dressed up in front of a room, and sometimes it's a casual. And now I've got family and friends that wear them. And then my brother-in-law was down in Mexico and he sent me a t-shirt he was wearing with my brand on it and said, "You've gone international." And I'm like, "Oh, cool." But yeah, it is about projecting who you are so that people start to recognize you. That's cool, Kelly.
Yeah, and I always think of that because that's one thing that you've always said is the brand is, be true to the brand and live the brand and wear the brand, and there you go.
Most people, Lori, most people around here know me that I love purple. Now today I have 3 different hoodies in different colors. My purple one's dirtier. I would have had that one on. But like I have a purple pen, I have a purple phone case. My nail tech knows all my purple shades. So when my nails are done, they're all in purple. But it is what people, to Kelly's point, they're like, "Well, Carol's purple." And people start to send me stuff that's anything purple. There's a store apparently in Seattle. I get it about 7 times a year. It's the purple store. So if I ever get to Seattle, I have to go to it because absolutely
that's
everything
nice.
is
That's
everything
nice.
is
My logo I just changed up my logo, and I went with kind of a periwinkle purple. Kind of a
nice.
blue, but it's more purple than blue. So
Yep.
yeah. So yeah.
Excuse me. All right. So there's kind of some thoughts to thinking about, not just the what's working, what's not working, but are there some things that we can either kind of train ourselves on, shift our own thinking a little bit, getting some savvy on running our business. And I'll say that to anybody. When I started my business, I'm a accidental entrepreneur due to a set of circumstances, was faced with what am I going to do? So I decided to start a business. And I knew how to do my job. I didn't know how to run a business. So there was a steep learning curve, right? On what's a business plan? What do you mean I got to do a business plan? What do you mean I got to do reports? And then taxes. Woof, right? So all this kind of stuff to learn. So I think we're always, behooves us to always kind of stay ahead of that and have some savvy about what we're doing. So Karen, I'm going to turn it to you if that's okay now to talk a little bit more about the new Business Navigators program. And hopefully your microphone is a little bit better because it was a little choppy before.
Like wave at me or something if it's seems to be going on.
Okay.
So the Business Navigator service is not a new idea to Canada. It's actually been operating in many provinces, including Nova Scotia, has had it for about 8 years. And longer than that. We are actually the last province to come onto the service. But in the budget of last year, the government announced that they wanted to start with initiatives to help new small, medium-sized businesses gets up and running in so some of you have probably already been through headaches of trying to navigate through the different programs and trying to find where the funding's going where the supports are. There's 3 of us across the island that if you do inquire to us, we can hear back with one of us. So that's Jeff Bauer, Alicia Morris, and stuff. The overall idea of the program is that we'll provide one-on-one personalized service for your farming related to establishing and operating business in the farming. And that can help you either navigating through the regulations of the building or implementation or getting off the ground, licensing, inspection requirements. We provide reimbursement related to taxes, funding, financing, staffing, supports that programs. So
I'm
rather
going
than
to
having
stop you there for a second, Karen, and just recap for folks because I know I'm seeing some puzzled looks. It's getting a little fuzzy again. So essentially, this province is the last province to join on to this type of concept. It is in Nova Scotia for the last 8 years, but it's in other provinces as well. And the idea is to provide a one-stop shop for small and medium businesses, either starting or operating. There's 3 folks, and I know Jeff Lawler I'm missing terribly at CCB because he used to do the community capacity building program. I reached out to him the other day and I didn't catch the other name. Yourself, Karen, Jeff,
Alicia.
And who's the 3rd person?
Alicia Norris.
Alicia Norris. Okay.
Yeah, and she hails from King at from Boston.
Okay. And then the idea is to navigate the types of programs that government offers. Is that where your help is?
The program regulations, licensing, permits, taxes, immigration, staffing, kind of facilitating the links. It's never, when you're setting up a business, it's never going to be dealing with one agent, number. So we're going to try to help facilitate that, make it a little bit easier. We're not getting callbacks, or we're not getting through the system. We don't know where to look. That
Okay.
is to come to us and we'll find more information about the guide through what we need to do. Right now, we don't have a service in, but generally, if you make an inquiry, you will get it the same day response based from us to say, I've taken on the file, I've accepted the meetings, discussed this further in chat, and then move forward. So you should be, depending on the content, inquiry comes in, so that we can business good, but we start to have an immediate response to as much as possible. Right now, there is a 1-800 number. I don't get a lot of those. It does go to voicemail. That's just a technical. Still, the phone new the team came on in December, so we're just trying to get the logistics of everything. So
Okay.
even though you leave a voicemail, you will get a call back that same day from very short number.
Okay. And is the
And-
email, the Business Navigator email that was on the press release, that's probably the best way to try to reach through?
It is, I put the information in chat, but I don't want to show up good there. I'm not really good at technology yet. I have to up my skills. There is a Business Navigator intake form. So if you just Google or put in Business Navigator NL, it'll bring you to that website. And there's an intake form portal. That's probably the best because it gives you a chance to put in a little bit about your business and give us an idea of what kind of inquiry you're going to have. So when we find that, we know where the foundation needs to go. Whether if you're more comfortable just calling, leaving a message, or emailing us, either is.
Okay. So the intake form is probably the best because you can give a bit of a background or context to what you're looking for.
Yeah, and that portal is just basically put your email in place, you take a consent reflection of information, and then you just fill out the relevant information. You can do it within 5 minutes.
Okay. Awesome. And Karen, is there, because I haven't looked into it other than the press release, is there not just navigating, okay, there's this program, this program, this program, is there help in actually applying for the different programs? Like if I don't know how to write a proposal to get marketing funding or something, is there some supports in that as well?
We don't offer the exact supports, but we will link you with people who can, and I know we're government, but a lot of the supports that we're providing and linking them to are actually outside the department. It would be things like yourself, part with the ones in the area, CDC, and we connect, but we won't just send you an email and say, here's a website. We will call CDC, but we have this person in this situation. We can connect, we can try to make a real connection before we can do it. Not but just send, we will send you a bunch. We've had a few inquiries where I have an idea about them with a script. So we will give them a bunch of different things to see what is their scenario in that case. If you have more of a specific plan, you're going to be doing this and you're wondering how to proceed, we will try to help navigate you a little more. Like the handbook, we have the person rather than just giving.
Okay.
And we're collecting resources on people or businesses and supports that are around these different areas to plan to help support these businesses. So if you know of any, if you want to send us information, you can always send me with the service. Picture careers is one that I always ask them to do.
Right.
It's not necessarily just government links. We're trying to help develop business. We want businesses in the firm. We want to help them as much as possible, no matter what stage. So
awesome. So it would be good for folks like Sherry and Samantha to get their information to your team about what supports they can offer and do, yes. Right?
We have a connect with work trades.
Love to connect on that. It sounds like a great program.
Yeah, I know when I worked in government, I couldn't navigate with inside government, so let alone outside of government, trying to figure out how to navigate with inside government.
And to be honest, we've been doing some research and trying to help lessen some of some of what happens with it. We're trying to, especially the more technical ones where there's a lot more step and setting up business with step people, it's outside the municipality, road access,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things. And, the different departments don't always communicate with one another, so we're trying to alleviate some of that. A little bit of this is red tape reduction, which we're going to after some time. If we're having the same issue, seeing if businesses face the same issue with the same departments, we'll go to those departments get to see if this is an issue. How can we, lessen the burden on businesses?
So that might be a big benefit, Karen, I guess, of your program, if you are starting to see the same type of queries because people are confused, or if you're starting to see people experiencing the same roadblocks, then having sort of that channel. So maybe it's best that folks go through you so you can kind of see the types of queries that, some of those roadblocks might be, right?
100%. If people are running, if you're talking with anybody running these issues, connect them with us, with stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see what we can do.
Okay. I know that NLWIC, it's not secret per se, but it's not official yet, but I know they're working on a lot of entrepreneur ecosystem mapping. And so they may be, if you haven't connected with them, I mean, they're doing some research projects right now on that. I know in Deer Lake, where Terry Lynn is, there's some surveys out right now for business owners, and there's a lot of talk about trying to get the ecosystem kind of revitalized up in that area. It's in Pasadena, we've had coffee breaks and things happen at the local cafe where Kelly does a lot of work. And, it kind of surprises you, I think, once in a while to see actually who's in your backyard. And then there's this type of opportunity where we kind of reach beyond our backyard. But sometimes even those grassroots things are really important to support. But I know as a business owner, I couldn't do it without all the support agencies. So I think this is a great step for government to take to kind of be that conduit. So I know Terry Lynn and I have had this conversation for years. She's in the agriculture industry, and so many people in the agriculture industry don't see themselves as entrepreneurs. Terry Lynn does, and she's here and she sees the value of it. But they're thinking, well, I can only get funding from the Department of Agriculture because I'm in agriculture. But yeah, there's lots of other stuff from the economic development side that they don't even think of, right?
Hopefully we'll be able to link some of that to people. And we're developing a library ourselves with partners, so especially for the outside organizations.
Okay.
We'll grow and
Excellent.
I will note that we don't really touch on nonprofit. However, we have had encouraged for nonprofits, and we will respond to them and help them best we can. But we would spend a lot of time on one development trying to navigate the curve and just give them more or less what's available.
Okay. Lori, down in your neck of the woods, are you aware of this type of program in Nova Scotia and how it works?
No, I'm going to do some research into this. We do have programs that are called REN, which is for the out here anyway, which is the Western Regional Entrepreneur Network, I think. And they're funded by the government, and they basically help people. Newcomers or people who are looking to change careers, they will point you into the direction of somebody else, connect you with somebody else who can help you in that industry that you're looking to get into or transfer over to. They do help with all kinds of other different programs, but this one sounds very interesting. And so I'm going to check into that one for Nova Scotia.
Yeah, they're definitely, we had a meeting with them before we started just to kind of get an idea of how they deliver their services. So they have a team of business navigators for the Nova Scotia area. And a lot of information on the.
Okay. Yeah, I know out of Yarmouth, because I'm on the west side of the province. in Yarmouth, they do have a couple of organizations. One's called Ignite, and it's one out there. It's a private industry, I believe, but it is out there to help people as well with their business and find connections and grants and all that type of thing too. So yeah,
I
we
think-
do have quite a bit of opportunity here, but it's always good to know of more.
Mhm.
And that one was the government, I believe they're paid to the,
Sorry.
I believe they're paid to the Halifax navigation team.
Oh, okay. Okay, perfect. Bit far, but there's always the phone.
That's right. We-
That's one thing, we don't really offer in-person service, and I don't know if they do either. It's more telephone inquiry or
Okay, perfect.
virtual.
Perfect.
I think that's one positive thing that we've learned over the last several years is we can actually be productive on video and phone and do things differently than we ever did before.
Mhm. Yeah, better use of our time.
Yeah, for sure. Um, so that's kind of what we have for you folks today. I don't know if anyone wants to take an opportunity to share something that's coming up in your organization, let others know. So Kelly, I know trivia night was a success.
Yep, we're doing it again this week too. So
Awesome.
it's and kind of to your point from earlier, Carol, is that my business plan, and I'm only very new, has already changed and shifted.
Mhm.
Because my idea was I was going to have these boxes and I was going to get them out to individual people and it was going to be great. And now I'm shifted into team building, and I'm mostly connected with organizations that want to do a lot of team building. And it's been fantastic. And I was like, oh, I didn't even see that part coming. And here we are.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
yeah. So I'm getting lots more inquiries. I've got a couple of birthday party events coming up. Which is great and new again. But trivia was a new thing here at the cafe, and my biggest barrier, I'm going to say, is trying to get people to understand what it is I do and connect with outside of Pasadena. Most of my team building have been outside of Pasadena, but any of my evening events are all in Pasadena, and I'd like to sort of expand out a little bit. But it's just getting people to understand exactly what it is I do and what I can do for people. So
Do you do videos and show videos of what you do for team building and so on?
yes, I haven't done that yet. I've done a lot of pictures, but I haven't really done any videos of it yet. But that's a great idea.
You've done a
Mhm.
couple reels, I think, with pictures
I
going
have, yeah.
through. Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of the reels. Once people see it, once people participate in it, they're like, "Oh, this is awesome!" Like, an hour of your time goes so fast, and you don't even realize it. And it really keeps people engaged. And then they talk about it after, and that's the best part of it, is the networking that happens afterwards,
Mhm.
because they're talking about what with my business with the escape boxes, people are learning their strengths as part of the team building. Oh, I didn't realize you were so good at this part of it, or you were so good at this part of it. And it really helps with the organization to figure out, their staffing's strengths, which is great.
That's cool. My
Yeah.
kids still ask me, Kelly, how do I tell people what you do? When they were really young, they used to say, Mom's kind of like a teacher, but for adults. And I said, okay, that's part of what I do. But they're in their 20s now and they're still struggling with trying to tell people what I do. So it's not easy sometimes to describe what we do.
No.
Terry Lynn, you've
Carol,
got
I'm just
some
gonna
spring stuff coming up, don't you?
I do. I just want to say or make a comment on what you just said, or what you were both talking about, reviewing your business plan and going back. And I think it's important to, as an entrepreneur, or in life general, but as an entrepreneur, to always just be open to change because 14 years ago, I never saw myself as a farmer. I didn't grow up in farming. We are definitely first generation farmers. And in my previous life, I worked in long-term care. So this is completely outside of, who I ever was. And I never, ever gave a second thought to where my food came from. And now on any given day, it's all I think about is where my food comes from, how I'm going to educate, the general public about where their food comes from. And 14 years ago, I didn't even like to get dirty. And now at least once a day, I have poop on me. So, you have to be open for change.
Exactly. So you've got some
And
stuff
yes,
coming
we
up.
do have some stuff coming up. Yes. We have some, this is sort of our downtime in January, as down as it gets for a farmer with livestock, I guess. But we sort of close to the public for our petting farm and those sorts of things, and just give our animals some time off as well. And so right now we're just focused on planning for the upcoming year, and we've got some stuff coming up in February and in March and April, just some special events, some kids camps and that sort of thing. And outside of the farm itself, we've got or myself and some other powerful women in the province are working on a new initiative for a women in agriculture organization for the province. So we're pretty pumped about that.
Awesome.
And in large part to Carol's support as well.
Yes, I got to travel with these women, and now I feel like Mama's watching her baby bird take wing and fly away, and I'm not part of it now, which is fine because they need to go on their own. But I'm so proud of them for the work that they've done.
Well, I think Samantha and Karen were both at our initial event in Corner Brook, and so you'll both be pleased to know that as of this morning or sometime this morning, we will officially be registered in Cato. So that's very exciting.
Very exciting times indeed.
Yeah.
During that session,
Yes.
you've definitely seen the demand and the need for such an organization. So it's awesome to see.
Yep.
Yes, it's definitely been a long time coming. It's something that, of course, as you ladies heard, I've been pushing for my 10-year span on the Federation of Agriculture Board of Directors. And so to see it all come to fruition is really exciting for me. So
Awesome. Excellent. Sherry, you guys got anything coming up at the Board of Trade?
The next big thing we have for the board now is actually bringing in a new board. We have our AGM coming up on the 30th, so we have a number of new candidates lined up. I think we're looking at 5 or 6 new members joining on.
Oh,
so
excellent.
it'll be a good refresher. A few new faces around the table, and so we don't have a lot of things on the calendar just yet because when I have a new board coming in, I kind of want to get their input.
Right.
So the next official thing on the calendar then is we normally do something as a networking style event as part of Winter Carnival. So there's a brand new business here in town, Golf Shots. So we're going to be doing a bit of a networking mixer / golfing competition down at their venue.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, we've got a few things in the mix, but no set dates. We always have the finance minister come out for the budget consultation. We've also been talking to her about maybe doing either an in-person or a virtual overview of the Churchill Falls agreement, a few things like that. No set dates yet, though. I'm going to get my new board in place next week, and then we'll kind of nail down a few more things then.
Okay. Are you having a luncheon or a dinner with your AGM?
I think we're going to put it more mixer style, and we'll do the AGM sort of late afternoon and roll right into our monthly mixer.
Oh, excellent.
So I'm hoping to have some ads out floating around, hopefully by end of today. I'm just waiting on a venue confirmation.
Excellent. Okay, good. Samantha, what's the credit union up besides opening new branches everywhere?
It's just been other chaos around here these days. With the branch just opened last week or a week before in Fogo Island. So that's very much taken up a lot of our time. But there's nothing really planned in the near future, but who knows what'll come out between now and then. And anytime there's an opportunity, just especially with the ones on the call, if there's ever an opportunity for us to partner or what have you, we're more than happy to kind of work with each other. So
Excellent. Did you
Yeah.
see the Bank of Montreal's closing in Port Choix?
yes, I did, and we have a branch in Port Saunders there, so that's definitely going to be one of our marketing strategies for 2025. We got, as an organization, we definitely want to continue to grow, and we have been doing awesome with that. So I'm excited to see. I mean, I feel bad for the people in the area, but I'm excited to be able to see the credit union values and stuff grow further and into these other communities. So it's exciting to see.
There's two things that
Yeah.
kind of shocked me. One was, here's your nearest branch, Deer Lake, from Port Choix. Like,
There's what I didn't understand. There is a branch in Rocky Harbor, isn't there not?
I don't know if it's there anymore. I don't remember seeing it last time I was down there.
I feel like they still have a BMO in Rocky Harbor.
Maybe. But I was just up on the Northern Peninsula in the fall doing some strategic planning for Nortip up there, and to hear the business community talk about banking and the struggles they're having with banking, to me, it was shocking to, just on the heels of that, to see another charter bank closing, because like, I don't rely on a bank for cash. I don't carry cash. My business is all invoice and payments and so on. But for businesses that need floats, like, to drive an hour and a half one direction to pick up your float, like that just boggled my mind.
It's concerning, honestly, especially like you think nonprofits and those sort of organizations. And even though, I mean, if I didn't work at the credit union, I'd probably never walk into a branch, but at least I know with the credit union, if I pick up the phone, I'm going to get Andrew at the front line or, whoever else in our branch. So that's my biggest concern is now these people are going to end up having to call the 1-800 number and hope for callbacks and stuff. So that's
Yeah.
definitely the biggest frustration we're seeing, especially where the Scotiabank closed here in Deer Lake. We've heard a lot of the struggles that really and truly shouldn't be surrounding banking. Honestly, it's a basic necessity, really and truly. So,
Well, that's it. I mean, I know there's so much electronic, but there are days when you actually need physical cash, or you need to be able to
Yeah.
deposit something, or you need to be able to walk in. And so seeing the small communities losing that support is really tough. But I know you guys worked hard on getting Fogo going. So I was really
Yes.
pleased to see that announcement that it was up and running.
And it's honestly like we just had staff down there, and it's been the most welcoming kind of response. They've been eager to have a financial institution on the island. Many of the businesses and nonprofits had to go all the way to Gander. So it was like an hour boat ride, and then I don't even know, like an hour drive almost to get to a financial institution just to do a basic deposit.
Wow.
And that the boat wasn't very reliable and all that stuff. So it definitely relieved a lot of stress that we put a branch down there. So, and that's what we're all about.
Yeah.
That's been happening here in Nova Scotia as well. Annapolis Royal, they lost their RBC, and now they have to come to Digby, which is, I mean, it's 30 minutes down the road, but at the same time, now the lines are longer.
Yeah.
When you're at the bank, so it takes a lot longer to do your banking. And when I'm doing retail in the summer, I have to have access to cash to be able to deposit it, because you can't just deposit coin inside the ATM. They won't take
Right.
coin. So what do you do with your coin if you can't deposit that? And where do you get change? A roll of toonies or whatever. So
Yeah.
it is a real issue, and I think they're heading in the wrong direction by doing this. But
And I know I'll get to the local, like Nova Scotia, down to one branch, right here on this part, one period, this 3, we went to one, and my mother thinks she still has schools, so I have to go and do the cash and check things for her. So I'm standing there, and of course, we got the big sign, and people do all these things online, and like, not everyone still wants to do that. It's still in the era where it's still, people don't want that. And I get to the counter, and they said, "Oh, don't forget to fill out the survey," right? She said, "But don't mention the lineup." And I said, "Your service was fabulous." I said, "But the fact that I had to stand here for 15 minutes to get it," I said, "I would certainly put that in the survey to let them know that there's a need for more branches or more tellers."
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can be respectful when you're giving bad news too, right?
Right, I mean, there was nothing wrong with teleservice when I got there.
When they got there, exactly. Exactly. And I mean, there are people who aren't comfortable with technology. I mean, working with two clients right now in Central. We're doing online surveys, and they've come back to me to say, like, our clients aren't comfortable. Can we do paper? And I said, sure, but you're gonna have to scan them to me so I can input them into, our summary. My email's going crazy here now because they're sending me all the paper copies, which is more work on my end, but that's okay, but you
Yeah.
have to work with the fact that not everyone is comfortable using the tools that are out there.
I still have consigners who only accept checks. They won't do an e-transfer for their payment every month. So yeah, there's still a lot of people who are rejecting technology.
Yeah. Not that I want to go back to the days where we stuff it under our mattress, but
You know,
but
or had the passbooks.
you do
Remember
have
the
to be scared, I
passbooks?
think, in today's world. I mean, I don't know. I just find it's heavy. I find the world is heavy. That's what I feel. And so trying to embrace what I can that's right for me, but not get down in those rabbit holes of getting sucked up into all the other stuff. So I'll use AI for my purposes, and I'll be comfortable with what my little bit that I'm doing, but I won't be sending off any rockets to wherever with it. All right, folks. I don't think there's much else I have unless anyone else wants to comment on anything or share anything that kind of triggered through the conversation.
Do
Lori?
people share their emails, or how do if I wanted to reach out to somebody, how would I do that?
Folks, we usually pop it into chat. So I have your email, Lori. So if someone wants to connect with you and they ask, I can share that for you if you're willing to do that.
Oh, 100%. Yep.
I know that I think Samantha put her contact info in there. Scott's got his Futurepreneur in there. Karen's got hers. You can look up, and Lori, you put yours in there as well.
Yep.
But if you want to look up, all of these folks are on Facebook as well. So
Great.
Samantha's on Atlantic Edge Credit Union. Terry Lynn is Robin's Family Farm. Sherry is Greater Corner Brook Board of Trade. They've got a website and Facebook as well. And Kelly is Bee's Knees Events and Marketing, or is it Marketing and Events? I always get it wrong, Kelly.
Event planning and marketing.
Event planning and marketing, Bee's Knees.
Bee's Knees, yep.
That part I remember, but
Event and marketing.
Event planning and marketing.
Okay.
And I'm Spicer Facilitation, which you know because you get my email.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm so glad you joined us today. It's one of those quirky things that I always track, how far we reach. So today I'll be posting that we went from St. John's to Digby.
There you go.
We had Scott in the east, and we had Lori on the west of Nova Scotia. I've
Yep.
never been to Digby, but I do have a Digby sweatshirt because my parents golfed there, and they
Oh,
picked up
there
some
you go.
I have an aunt and
Yeah.
uncle that live just outside of Halifax, and they're big golfers. So mom and dad go over and golf with them, with dad's brother,
Yeah.
and so they
Yeah,
usually make a little trip and go down overnight and hit the golf scene.
The Pines Golf Course. Apparently, it was quite a Scottish designer who created our golf course. So, but
Yeah, and my uncle had the dream trip of a lifetime. He took his two boys to Scotland and golfed
oh wow,
this past summer, and the pictures coming back were like this. I don't know if the smile's off his face yet. He was just having so much fun. Nice chance to have a little trip with his adult sons. So it was good. But yeah, I've got a sweatshirt. Never been there though.
Well, Digby's lovely. We're right on the Bay of Fundy.
Funny story about golfing and golf courses around places. The new business that's in Corner Brook, my husband and I went and tried it out last week. And so you can golf any golf course around the world. So we were like, okay, this is cool. So we could do Scotland. And it is actually the layout of those golf courses, which is really cool. So we did the Cabot Links in Nova Scotia, and we did one hole, and then we decided that wasn't a great idea to start out with when you're doing it virtually for the first time. So, but it was really cool that you could golf all around the world.
That's cool.
That is
You'll have to
cool.
put that in your promotion, Sherry, for your networking thing. Come golf the world.
I've heard great things about the last week.
That's cool. All right. So as always, I'm always looking for ideas. So if any of you have any thoughts on topic that you'd like to have covered, or a particular speaker that you might be interested in, or if you want to share anything, then feel free to reach out. This one came together really quickly, so thank you for making the time to do this. I didn't think I was going to get one off in January, but was happy to do so. So I'll be looking to plan February's next, so stay tuned.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
that's cool.
Small world, see?
How
That's
long
what-
ago?
Quite a while ago, but probably all his family. I think his wife still lives there. And I don't know if any of his children still live there, but it was Frank McIntosh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. That's quite funny.
Yes.
Small world.
It
It
is
is.
indeed. All right, I'm going to wish you all a great day and give you back 20 minutes of your day. So enjoy it. And the sun is shining here on the West Coast. So hopefully you get some sun with your cold there too, Lori. And
Oh, we have a beautiful clear day today. It's gorgeous.
oh, nice.
Yeah.
Excellent. So have a great day, everyone. And
Thank
we
you.
will see you again.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
See you later, guys.